Welcome back, guys. Happy Wednesday. One hell of a day. It has been the volatility was insane. This is why we're getting this video out late today. I've just been glued on multiple Twitter spaces and it's just been insane. So we're going to talk about that today. If you're excited to learn what the hell is going on, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about my thesis here on memes and the upcoming bull run and how I think this is going to play out. So we're going to get into some data around that. And today's jam-packed with alpha, guys. And if you're excited to see Bitcoin smashing yearly all-time highs, even with this little correction here, let's do us all a favor here and smash the likes, guys. The more likes that we get on this video, the more algorithm will circulate it. Put comments below. Let me know what you're thinking. Is the sound clear today, guys? It sounds better to me. Hopefully it sounds better to you guys as well. And without further ado, let's dive into it. So what we're going to do is look over here at Bybit. And oh man, you can see, you guys know on the show here, I've been talking about, just like wanting to get in even back here and here and here and here and here. Finally, you can see today I had 1, 2, 3, 4 buy positions, essentially increasing my position. Now my position is at a value of $681,000 at margin, $91,000 with 7.5x leverage. So pretty happy about this here. Actually, let me break this down into 5-minute candles so you can see exactly. Yeah, so I bought somewhere here in this on this one here, and again I guess over here, is that right? Yeah. So I guess this is actually five positions adding here, over here, here, which those are all in the money right now. This one seems to be, I don't know if I bought it here or down here, and then this one seems to be breaking even. So as you can see, guys, like overall pretty happy, up 15 grand. I did post all of this in the VVIP group live as I was doing it. But look at this volatility, was insane. I was watching this live, going boom, all the way up to $64,500. And then just minutes later, boom, down to $58,577. There was $1.7 billion, $1.6 billion of open interest wiped out. Very healthy reset. You can see here, guys, the funding rate on Bitcoin. Earlier today, this was at 0.54 or something. Now it's at 0.09. Wait a minute. Is that exceptionally high? I don't know. Because it was at 0.01 before. Or was it 0.1? I don't know. Anyway, let's ignore that because I don't there. But huge liquidations everywhere. People were just going long and then short and then just getting liquidated. It was a healthy flush. There was so much open interest that, yeah, you could just see that. So my thesis here was to buy the dip, or add leverage on the dip. I'm already allocated in spot, right? And what I did also, guys, I was just small played on, you can see here my, you can see my whiff. I was trying, no, where's my whiff? Close positions. Okay, it doesn't show it. But anyway, my whiff, I opened and closed a couple times today. Got a little bit sloppy, but it was okay. It was like a small position. I think I lost like $3,500 on that one. So doing quite well comparatively here. Anyway, rambling. Okay, let's get on. So Bitcoin is on track to close the strongest monthly candle since December 2020. This happened around the time Bitcoin broke its old all-time highs from 2017. Looks like we're going to break the record of 6 consecutive months in the green. Send it higher. And Jim over here. Look at this, Jim Cramer.
There's underperformance, okay? Okay, it's depressing.
I don't want to.
What has Bitcoin ever done for mankind? Are you ever on a Bitcoin phone? Watson, come here, I need you. I mean, what is it?
Well, coming up, United Healthcare is apparently in.
There's underperformance, okay? Okay, it's depressing.
I don't want to.
What has Bitcoin ever done for mankind? Are you ever Bitcoin?
Sovereignty in financial currency there, Jim Cramer. That's what did. And guys, Just like yesterday broke a record, and day before broke a record. Today, Eric Balcuna says only halfway through the trading day, and the new 9 Bitcoin ETFs have already broken their all-time high volume record with $2.6 billion of volume. We got 4 BTC ETFs in the top 20. IBIT is number 4 overall. It's going to trade more today than its first 2 weeks combined. This is officially a craze. And you can see yesterday, and I can't wait to see what the numbers are today. Yesterday, again, another massive day of net inflows at 574 million. And I'm guessing that today was another massive inflow day. But then, of course, I don't know. It seems like totally market manipulation to me. Exchanges just wicking out this leverage. I don't really know. But my guess is that today is going to be another huge day for inflows. Also, as you can see here, it was, so we'll get into retail in just a minute here, but look at this. All at once, Coinbase, Binance, and KuCoin down. What the hell is going on? This is 1 hour ago when it was in one of my trading groups, and everyone's just like, oh, Binance is down. And I checked it. Yep, down. Coinbase down. And everyone was freaking out. But it's all good. Like, it's just crazy influx. It looks like retail might be coming back into the picture, guys, which would be very bullish for altcoins. So this is not a correct tweet, actually. I was on Mario's space earlier co-hosting, and I brought up the statistic here. This is actually from Fidelity. Yes, that's true, but it's for Fidelity Canada, who manages 48 billion in assets, not 4.5 trillion. So not quite the size, but the messaging is still the same, right? This is still under the Fidelity umbrella, and they are suggesting how people want to allocate. So even in their most conservative fund, they're saying 1% allocation toward crypto. And crypto, not Bitcoin, as you noticed, right? Because they're probably expecting the Ethereum ETF to come up. And then a more balanced fund, 2% allocation to crypto, and the more aggressive funds, 3% to crypto, right? Now, you can see here that TED Talks, I also brought this up today on the space, and I was also corrected by Alex from Galaxy. Now, what he said didn't make sense to me. So what TED Talks Macro says is BlackRock are recommending that investors make a 28% allocation to Bitcoin in their portfolio. This came out of a recent BlackRock client event, according to Swan. This is Corey's company, Swan Bitcoin. The event was focused on promoting IBIT, their spot Bitcoin ETF. And here's the notes from the meeting. And as you can see here, big idea number 3. They had a quant give a presentation on valuing and modeling Bitcoin in a portfolio. He suggested what type of allocations might make sense for an investor. And remember, this is geared at a more conservative institutional investor. The number he suggested was 28%. BlackRock's own analyst recommending a 20% portfolio allocation to Bitcoin as not unreasonable. Now, when I was corrected on the space earlier, Alex, who corrected me, said that this was actually saying this was done with back data and that the ideal allocation would have been 28%. But that also doesn't make sense to me because Bitcoin has been the best performing asset essentially of anything, right? It's outperformed the S&P, it's outperformed stocks, bonds, real estate, everything. So the ideal allocation would have been 100%. So that didn't make sense. But anyway, the point is they are shilling hard. Here is another thing that I want to shove down your throat here, because we talked about the supply crisis, the supply shock that's coming. So I love Fred's posts, Fred Krueger over here. If you guys aren't following him, just like really cool, well thought out things. He writes it all down for me. It's what I'm thinking, but he phrases it all perfect, so I can just read it to you guys, and I agree. So 2 years or less toward hyperbolic price shock. There are 19.6 million mined Bitcoin. 70% of them haven't moved in a year. And quite frankly, not likely to move. They've either been lost forever, there's Satoshi's, one of his 1.1 million coins, or MicroStrategy, or whatever, right? So that means that there's 5.8 million possible available to buy. of these, 50% are really for sale at prices less than 300,000 because when they go up, the price will go over 300,000. That's 2.9 million Bitcoin. Wall Street just gobbled up 100,000 Bitcoin in 1 month. Within a year, Hong Kong will join, I think sooner than a year, and others to join the ETF game as well. And on one of the spaces I was on today, too, Alex also told me that apparently, I don't know, the way that the regulations work, like not everyone is allowed to buy. And remember, I've talked to you guys about this too before, that registered investment advisors are just now starting to kind of like wrap their head around with what is Bitcoin, or it's not a scam. And like, so they're just learning about this. Like we in this echo chamber, in this bubble that we live in, we all know, right? We're all sophisticated, intelligent. You guys are my audience, you guys are very smart, very sophisticated. That's why you're here. So you know what's up, right? But these guys in the traditional world, they don't. And so they're still being taught. And so really the big point is that massive inflows are still to come. So what Fred keeps saying is that when others join in, institutions, pension funds, governments, other countries with their ETFs, it could hit $200,000 Bitcoin a month drain. No problem. That's under 2 years until supply is effectively zero. Gentlemen, start your engines. And that's why I'm long. It's just long. So Bitcoin ETFs, this is mind-blowing here. I mean, this is how you know that we're winning. Bitcoin ETFs are almost at 50% the size of gold ETFs. Bitcoin ETFs launched last month. Gold ETFs launched in 2004, 20 years ago. Allocate accordingly. So as you can see that the Bitcoin ETFs now hold $40.7 billion in value, while gold ETFs are just at $92 billion. So another 5 billion, which is like another 2 weeks or something probably, and the Bitcoin ETFs will be at half in 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever. I think there's been like 31 trading days or something. Will be half. And what do you think is going to happen when all these gold bugs like Peter Schiff and everything see this happening? This is probably going to get sold off and go into Bitcoin. The same like I've told you guys before about other assets too, like real estate and bonds, and everything's going to go into the winning asset class, which is Bitcoin. Yesterday, we talked about Sweden's currency, and you can see that of the top 20 currencies in the world, this was on the 27th. So yesterday, Sweden was added to this list as well. But you can see out of the Norwegian krone, the Turkish lira, and Japanese yen and the Swedish krona, all have hit all-time highs now in their local currency versus Bitcoin. So Ansem has some knowledge bombs here for you guys, which I generally agree with, right? When you see me trading with leverage, it is casino money, right? It is something that I fully understand and willing to lose 100% of it, right? What I have majority of my portfolio allocated into solid projects, right? Even my allocation into, I think, even though my whiff bag is pretty tremendous right now, and as far as like portfolio size, it's still only 2%, I think, of my total liquid assets. So majority of my liquid assets are in blue chips and holding spot, not trading leverage. And I know that it's tempting sometimes. You see these guys on the YouTube channels that show you that they're out $5 or $6 million on a leverage trade. And it is tempting, right? But just think that that's over a long period of time, and they can probably afford to lose that, right? So really the idea here is buy spot and hold spot on your highest conviction plays. Put some of your portfolio away for gambling, memes, microcaps, leverage trading, if you're comfortable with it, right? A lot of you guys, a lot of people I've talked to are not comfortable with it, right? Like a lot of people said, Kyle, you know, I've worked for 20 years, 30 years, my ass off, and I'm just not interested in losing any of this hard-earned money. And I hear you. That makes perfect sense. And if you're not comfortable with the market, like it's terrifying to live in. So that's why on this channel, I bring you a balance of blue chips, which I have high conviction in. And then we go into some of the more mid caps and we talk a bit more about also some degenerate stuff, but I warn you about those as well. And then we also follow where capital goes, right? And so we're not talking the past few weeks about microcap gems, even though there are some out there, because capital's not rotating there yet, right? This is a Bitcoin-led rally, and we're going to rotate when it's time to rotate. And if you guys are subscribed, you will get to follow that along with me. So we talked about this as well yesterday. Google Trends, again, on the Twitter space that I was on today, they said the Google Trends wasn't the best barometer of retail interest. But we also showed you yesterday the Reddit posts and also the Coinbase app. I just found out about this Coinbase app rank bot. 3 hours ago, Coinbase was ranked 277 of all the apps. And it was 388, I think, when we talked about it last, which is yesterday, the day before. So it's definitely climbing in popularity. And then the fact that all these exchanges went down with all this volatility, either that was exchange manipulation, and it always happens. Whenever you have these big, huge price swings, these exchanges always go down conveniently. Like, and I don't know, it's probably legit because Coinbase, I don't think they can, like, they will be investigated if like people got liquidated or things couldn't go right because the exchange went down. I think was just inbound demand. Like, I'm interested to see what these numbers look like tomorrow and follow along and see, which means, guys, that we could be on the brink of a serious altcoin season here. And words of wisdom, things to think about when we're all making tons of money and we're super drunk on our portfolio being so big. Coinbase hit #1 on the app stores twice. December 8th, 2017 and October 21st, 2021. Essentially almost at the market tops. Maybe it's a good idea for us to pay attention to the Coinbase app, and maybe when it gets close to #1, maybe it's a good time for us to start looking at exiting aggressively from the market. It's important to remember all these things because I'll tell you, when you're in the market and things are increasing by, you know, it's not uncommon to see your whole portfolio increase by 50%, 100% a day. And it's like day after day after day. And you think it's never going to end. And you forget all these things that we're talking about to make sure that, you know, that you have all these kind of safety precautions in place. I am not in the mindset that we're anywhere near close to a top, right? Everything that we've discussed suggests that we are healthy in a healthy pattern into the beginning days of what looks to be a glorious bull run. But as we do get a bit closer, let's say Bitcoin gets to 100,000 or something, and as we start thinking about strategies to protect ourselves and exits, I'll make sure to share those with you guys as well, to make sure that we leave, or when the bull market comes crashing down, that we are in as good a position as possible. Interesting to take a perspective here and look at what Zach Voll says. Bitcoin was trading at $25,000. BlackRock had just filed the spot ETF. Crypto Twitter was bearish. You can see Wendy O said the BlackRock Bitcoin spot ETF is not bullish in any aspect. They're monopolizing the industry in the USA so they can destroy crypto, further the wealth gap, blah, blah, blah. Genuine question, is there still meaningful demand in the US? BlackRock did not file ETF. They filed, it's no different than, yeah. So anyway, just interesting to see how things have changed. So Tyler Reynolds says, getting rich this cycle is about pushing your portfolio into the highest beta opportunities that will have enough exit liquidity at the top and sit. Between now and the top, as you call it, you probably shouldn't be doing anything like active trading or sector rotation mid-cycle. I'm I'm on the fence about this here, right? Because as you know, if you watch the show a lot, sector rotation is very common, and the narrative changes so quick, right? And we're trying to use tools over here like Kaito, for example, to pay attention to where the mind share is going to be. And one thing for sure is it seems like mind share is definitely, memes are going to be full swing this season. Let's go over here and look at the banter bubbles for memes. And you can see, oh, good thing this little Wen that I bought a while back is a nice little pump. Even Wojak's making a comeback here. Trump up nicely. And where is our... Why don't I see it? Where's Whiff? Pepe up 9%. Oh, Whiff over here, 4.5%, 4.15%. So, but is that right? Okay, let's look at, but as you can see, when we started prepping for the show earlier, this was where all the mind share was. And if you look at the mind share over here on Kaito, mind share is still, even though it's down a little bit for the day, still in the top mind share of the entire space. You have Pepe, Whiff, and Bonk. And I'm going to throw in Trump. It's not in here yet, but I think that as Trump continues to rally, that's where I'm at. And just to remind you how insane things get, Dogecoin to 89 billion, SHIB to 41 billion. And right now we have Dogwifhat at 683 million. So he's 67. So you still have like, 50x left in this thing. I really think that timing is critical. And Pepe now, where is Pepe? How's Pepe doing? 1.24 billion. Again, if Pepe is the Doge and Dogwifhat is the SHIB, these things, this would still have 80x to go or 70x. And so that's why my biggest allocations right now in meme coins are Dogwifhat, because I got in the earliest and I already have made a bunch off Pepe in the first run up. But as it's been pumping like crazy, it's a pretty big allocation. I probably will allocate more into Pepe actually, because I just love the meme. I mean, it's the biggest meme in the world. And I'll tell you a quick story. In I think 2021, I was in New York and Manhattan, and I went around and I wanted to film a video, and I wanted to ask different store owners and people on the streets if they had Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. And an overwhelming amount of people didn't have Bitcoin, but guess what they had? They had Shiba and Doge. Like everybody had Shiba and Doge. Why? Because it's not complicated to understand. It's a meme. It makes you laugh. And this year, we've been seeing more like legitimate funds, and I've shared them with you guys, writing research on their allocations using investor capital into meme coins as like a legit thesis for making money, right? And obviously it is. We've been making a killing on these memes, and I don't expect that to stop. One of the other discussions I had on Twitter Spaces earlier today was, and it's been a valid point that's been brought up, is like there's going to be so much money coming into Bitcoin and then maybe Ethereum if the ETF gets approved, which people think it will be, that's where the majority of inflows will come into, right? And these guys, this money is like, it's crazy money. Like in 2 days, there was over $1 billion. It's like $1.1 billion of net inflows into Bitcoin. Think of how many retail investors it would take to get 1.1 billion. Like a lot, right? And that's just in 2 days. So it's super powerful what's going on right now with these ETFs, and that's going to drive majority of value. And so a lot of people are wondering, like, are we going to have the same rotation into that we've seen in previous cycles where it was all retail driven? And so it made perfect sense in the past, since it was retail driven, for the big boy, the Bitcoin to lead it, then rotation and rotation and rotation and rotation. I still think that that's going to happen, but maybe less because of the way that's rallied. But also there's another school of thought that people think that even Wall Street has the same degenerate, and that for sure they do, same degeneracy as us. But a lot of the money isn't coming from Wall Street retail, suits. It will come from pensions and things like that want to hold. But when retail comes back, Bitcoin's gonna be too expensive for them. They're gonna look for things that are easy to understand and that's cheap, right? Pepe at 0.00000529 is cheap coin, right? Even though it's $1.24 billion, right? And Dogwifhat at 66 cents, like that's not as cheap, right? And this is the unit bias coming into it, but it's still easy to understand, right? And like Dogwifhat is super viral meme. Like just put a hat on anything and like there it is. And then I told you guys my thesis on Trump. We first brought up on the show at $170 million market cap. It's now at 301, so almost sitting on a 2x here, guys. I told you guys about my thesis there. We see a huge pump today in Arweave, 50% pump, and really it's because of this. So basically what they've been doing is Arweave has always been a data layer. It's always been about storing data on a decentralized chain. And I read the article so you didn't have to, but basically they talk about how they were thinking about doing stuff. And so they now have they launched this testnet called Arweave AO, which is supposed to be like the most scalable blockchain on the planet and fastest and most throughput. But what makes it exceptionally unique to other competitors like Aptos and Sui or Say or whatever is those blockchains cannot hold large amounts of data. So you still need to use something like IPFS or off-chain storage, where Arweave was built for on-chain storage of data and now has like the fast scaling blockchain layer. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Arweave. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper. It's not a new shiny coin, but you can see it did pump 50%, and it would be interesting to see what happens here. Another nice thing is that you can see market cap is same as fully diluted valuation. That means 100% of tokens are circulating. No more team unlocks, no more advisors, no more public sale, no more private sale. So no more inflation. And in fact, in the article, it said it's now deflationary, which is something to look forward to as well. It's warranted to look further into Arweave for sure. If everything, and they'd have the AI narrative in there, the decentralized compute, like all the kind of hot narratives, DPIN, all these kind of narratives that are popping up right now. And so this thing could still run 50, 60x in this bull run, right? Because we see far less developed protocols at far higher valuations. This thing could even run, if it's legit, it's just testing it right now, but this thing could even run, 10x in the next, couple months or something. So something to keep an eye on. All right, guys, that's a wrap it up today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye.